this is where I belong. This is home. Real dirt in the sunlight again. I'm very excited. Anything could happen at any moment. My heart is so happy right now. We're making magic. We're making magic.
So let's just kind of do a fun, around the table introduction, and how long you guys have been working with Disney.
Hi, Dr. Jeff, Animal Health Director here. So I lead our animal health and animal nutrition teams for all the animals here in Orlando, but also our animals in the Bahamas and Hawaii. For about 7 months this year, I also co-led with Dr. Zach the animal side of the production of the second season of Magic at Disney's Animal Kingdom.
I can take it from there. I'm Dr. Zach Kazan, and I am a conservation manager with Disney Conservation. So I lead the terrestrial conservation programs, whether that's migratory birds or pollinating insects, and working with people and our social science programs around conservation. And then helped co-lead the production of Magic of Disney's Animal Kingdom Season 2 with Dr. Jeff. And I have been working with or at Disney's Animal Kingdom in some capacity since 2014.
I am Dr. Jen. I am a clinical veterinarian here at Disney, and I've been with Disney's Animals Science and Environment since 2021. So I help to provide medical care for the animals here at Disney's Animal Kingdom, and then the animals that live at the seas with Nemo and Friends at Epcot, and then also the animals that live at Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge.
I am Rain. I am one of the animal keepers here at Disney's Animal Kingdom, and I have been here since 2013. I take care of the animals that are on the East Savannah, so part of the Kilimanjaro Safaris ride.
That is just so cool. So let's just start off with, how did this idea begin? So we know this is season 2. So what made you guys think, this would be really cool to kind of see it from a different perspective? You go to Disney all the time and you're checking off all the boxes. We ride this, we do this, we go see this person, we go see this animal. Where do you guys think that this was what was the reasoning behind the season 2?
Yeah, Candace, when Disney acquired Fox, they got Nat Geo in that acquisition. Mm-hmm. And so it really stemmed from the top of the company wanting to look at that first synergy project between Disney and Nat Geo, and we were identified as the place to do that. And so it was a pretty interesting experience because none of us had done any television, not from a documentary series perspective. We'd done news items and things like that before. And so there was quite a steep learning curve for us here at Disney about, having essentially film crews in our back pockets, and getting used to that. And it was interesting in season 1 because as we were getting close to the end of filming, COVID happened. Gotcha. And we actually kicked the film crews out at the time that we closed the parks. And then there was no big fanfare launch of season 1. I think that we didn't really understand whether the show was liked or not liked. But then we started hearing from our guests coming into the park that it was one of the things that really resonated with them with the pandemic, being stuck at home a lot more, getting into the streaming services and just watching it on Disney Plus, and essentially getting both their Disney fix and their nature fix from the comfort of their home at a time when it was just difficult to get it any other way. And I think our audience just slowly grew and grew and grew. But I think here we didn't really understand the extent of it. And then Nat Geo came and knocked and said, hey, season 1 was a tremendous success. We want to do season 2. And we were perhaps a little bit taken aback. We didn't really understand how successful season 1 had been. And then they said, we want to green light it. We want to start it next week.
Oh, okay.
And then, yeah, and that's essentially what happened. Like a week later, 3 film crews dropped back into our backyard again, and for the next 7 months, we filmed. And
So
it was
for
awesome.
somebody who hasn't watched it yet, I mean, my family's a big fan, and we'll get to that in just a little bit. But for somebody who doesn't know what it's about, this is a different docu-series than just the typical, slower pace, kind of National Geographic. This you kind of hop around from different species, different parks, different. I mean, I feel like they're different ecosystems. You'll go from gorilla to sea turtle to a horse in just one episode. So how is this docu-series different than the others that you see on other streaming services?
You want to take that, Dr. Zach?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just being privileged enough to work at Disney's Animal Kingdom and talking to people, I get to see all of the crazy stuff that it takes to actually make Animal Kingdom run. And you'd think it is a crazy amount of work, and it is 10 times beyond that. And then when you talk to people, whether it's at, Thanksgiving dinner or with your friends or family, people are desperate to know what it actually takes to do it. And so this is a really cool opportunity because we get to peel back the curtain a little bit and show what's going on there behind the scenes. And it's different because there is just so much to show, and we really have to pick and choose like what is going to be the big amazing thing that we're able to show in this particular episode. And so it's just there is a thirst for this type of content, and there's just so much to show. And in this, I think that we really hit our stride in season 2 because we were able to do some of these stories that took weeks and weeks and weeks to film, and like sea turtles that got cold stunned and washed up on shore, and then we were able to take the animal care expertise that we have and rehabilitate them at the seas with Nemo and Friends at Epcot, and then release them back out into the wild afterwards. And it's just this complex, incredible story that took months to actually take place. And so, yeah, it's an amazing opportunity to show the detail and the amount of work and the passion that goes into the work that we do.
I mean, and there is really so many layers, because not only are you hearing from the zookeepers, you're hearing from the vets, you're hearing from sometimes guests who are watching this from another perspective. And it's not always, butterflies and rainbows and, magicalness of Disney. I mean, sometimes you do get kind of into the nitty gritty of surgeries. I know my 6-year-old sometimes watches it like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen with the gorilla or something like that. So you guys also show the good, the bad, and, and then sometimes it's nature, right? I mean, you guys really do push, the animals are the animals, and you're just trying to support them. So for some people who might say, Animal Kingdom is just a zoo and just kind of, they're just trying to make money out of it. This docuseries shows so many things that you guys do for these animals. Can you kind of give us an idea of that?
I think that one of the greatest things about season 2 is how multifaceted it is. Just as you were saying, Candace, it shows the good days, it shows the bad days, and it shows how we all work together as a team to provide the animals with the best care possible. And that means our animal keepers, our veterinarians, our conservation team, our nutrition staff, our Imagineers, everybody working together to really make the best decisions for these animals and give them the best life possible, which is so great to see and so great to share with our guests. And even allowing them into our world to see those bad days, we all have them, and we work through them as a team. And so I think it really gives the audience a clearer picture of all the things that are involved in what we do. And to Zach's point, being able to share our conservation stories is a huge asset in season 2. I think that people get to see what happens behind the scenes when we're rehabilitating manatees and we're releasing them back into the wild as an endangered species. That's super important for the population. And the same thing with the sea turtles. Even releasing one sea turtle that then grows to sexual maturity is huge for the sea turtle population. So it's great that we're able to share those stories, and we really hope the audience connects with those, and we think that they will.
Yeah. I mean, and beyond just kind of that knowledge, you're also inspiring a new generation. I'm seeing it in my own home. I have a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old, and now they're spitting facts about animals. And they talked about temperatures of sea turtles changes the sex and this and that. I mean, is that something you guys are hoping for, to kind of create this new generation and this new love for conservation, for animals in general?
I think the overall goal is really connecting, especially the next generation, to the animals and the environment and the world in a bigger picture. The world has just gotten smaller and smaller with each subsequent generation. And there's a lot of people out there that are not going to be able to make a trip to the ocean or make a trip to Africa or Asia or some of these places where these animals still live in the wild. And so for us to be able to offer the perspective of all of the care and passion that goes into them under managed care, we want to really connect everyone to that. And by doing that, we're hoping that they're really going to take that to the next level of what our generation did is X, Y, Z, but the next generation will stand on our shoulders and rise beyond that and just continue to grow and have that ripple effect out there. We're really hoping that the show will make those connections, especially for that younger generation.
And Rain, that talking about connections, as you really see in this season, how connected a lot of these keepers are with their animals. I mean, sometimes they're going to procedures and you see almost the zookeepers and holding back tears. I mean, what is it to be able to have that gift, to be able to work with these animals day in and day out?
It is a gift. It is truly indescribable. The joy and just the amazement that I have every single day in connecting with these animals, being able to share their lives and see a little bit every day. You get just these little glimpses of who they are and what they like and what they don't like. You really do form very personal connections with each one of them. And so we do root for them. We cheer for them. We, get sad with them. We connect with them. Absolutely. And so I really hope that the show can demonstrate that of all of that, not only the physical investment that we make in caring for these animals and their environment, but also that emotional investment that we really pour into everything we have to making sure that these animals as individuals each have the very best day they can every single day.
And the storytelling through the season is just phenomenal. When you'd think you follow this one animal for the next 45 minutes, but you hop from one animal to the next. So the story lanes all continue. I mean, you keep kids and adults so entertained because you're like, oh, what's happening with this animal? But wait, go back to this one, and it's just a phenomenal docuseries. So congratulations on this. Have you guys watched it? Have you guys watched yourselves on TV? What do you think?
So, Dr. Zach and I have watched every episode about 25 times through the review editing process. And
that's a hard job.
We're pretty familiar with every story that's there. And both of us agree that even having watched it so much, it still doesn't stop us from crying at the times when it gets very emotional. Mm-hmm. We talk about our gorilla Spike and his passing, and it is a very emotional end to that episode 2 of the second season. And I tear up every time, even though I have literally watched it probably 25 times now. Right. It is always a little bit awkward watching yourself on TV because of the fact that the voice in your head sounds very different to the voice that's on the footage. And then you kind of know what's going on in that scene that's not actually the piece of the TV footage. Right. And so it can feel a little bit disconnecting at times, I think. Mm-hmm. But, you can see through the passion of the 4 of us is that we just love the show. We're so proud of it. And we really hope that it does inspire, the next generation to perhaps want to be like us, or just to take action at home. And, one of the great stories that we do talk about is the sea turtle rehab one. And we have some great footage of comparing jellyfish, their natural diet, to plastic bags in the ocean.
Yeah.
And if nothing else, we could just get everybody at home to reuse and recycle those plastic bags, then we've had a win.
Absolutely. So what would you say is a fun little behind the scenes that maybe our viewers can know while they watch the docuseries? Anybody have like a little tidbit?
Now, I do have one little tidbit that I have shared, and it's about our male white rhino, Dugan.
Dugan.
He's very handsome and popular. His favorite enrichment is Calvin Klein's Obsession.
What?
He loves it. Gets so excited for it.
Dr. Jeff was saying that we saw it 25 times during the review process. I've probably seen it an additional 25 times at this point, just because my kids watch it and rewatch it and want to watch it nonstop. Partially maybe because they're fans of me, but really they just love the show, and it's watchable and rewatchable. And what they love is just figuring out where things are. And then when we go in person to Animal Kingdom, they see stuff like, oh, that's Bruce the catfish. And they know where it is. And they go over there and they want to see it. Or they know where to look for the baby rhinos when we're on the train going towards Conservation Station. And so they watch it and they put together this map of Animal Kingdom that you don't normally get as a regular guest. You get to see it kind of, the map from behind the scenes as well from watching the show. And it makes the experience of going in person even better because it's that much more rich and amazing.
Yeah, it's even more engagement. I mean, Disney engages you from the moment you park, but this even brings you even more into the story of all these amazing animals. I mean, honestly, Dr. Zach, I mean, you probably increase your caliber of coolness as a dad. I'm just saying. When they see you on TV, right? So does anybody want to share like their most memorable story? I mean, I know you guys have stories, for years to come, but is there a certain animal, a certain event that happened that just kind of sticks with you?
Oh, I have a great one. I think that for that one, Candace is,
Okay.
And I really pushed to get this in the second season. I tried to get it in the first season and it just didn't work out, but it's around one of our white-cheeked gibbons. Her name is Harper. And I was there when she was born. Her mom was in labor 12 hours. Harper was trying to come out backwards. Malika hadn't dilated. And on ultrasound, Harper's heartbeat was actually very weak. And so I made the decision then that I needed to do a C-section on her. And we have, this was almost 7 years ago, but our primate team captured the footage with their iPhone. And so we're now able to share, not only share Harper's story, but part of the surgery as well. And, I have a soft spot in her heart, or in my heart for Harper, I suppose, because, she was literally in my hands as soon as she was born. And so, I followed her over the years. I spent a lot of time down there. Her dad gives me the evil eye because I hang out there so much. But she's just transitioned into womanhood now. And I know that she's going to leave soon because she needs to start her own family somewhere else. And so I'm sad that she's going, but I'm also very happy that she's going to take that next step in her life.
Oh, Dr. Jeff, I can see you just walking her down the aisle.
Yeah.
He totally would if he could.
I would.
I got to keep an eye out for her in season 2. Anybody else have a memorable story?
Oh, well, I will never turn down a moment to talk about my favorite manatee. His name is Lil Joe. And gosh, I love this manatee. He is featured in episode 9, I believe, of this season. And he has a bit of a toothache, so he has to go to see the dentist, which happens to be me that day. So it's a really cool story and kind of showcases the great animal care, but also kind of that relationship that we build with the animals over time, which is really cool. And also displays some parts of our manatee rescue and rehabilitation program, which Lil Joe was a part of back many years ago. So that's a really cool story. And I hope that people will like that one too.
Hey, Candace, you were talking earlier about like not everything is butterflies and rainbows.
Right.
But the truth of it is we have both in season 2. And one of my favorite stories is actually Dr. Zach catching butterflies. And
It's amazing.
Once you've seen that footage, your admiration for Dr. Zach is going to go like higher and higher. But it's a great story around our solar array. I'm going to let Dr. Zach tell it.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I certainly, that scene gets a lot of laughs, and I appreciate that because entomologists typically don't get that many laughs, at least not intentionally. And so I feel really good about it. But yeah, 2 of our 4 theme parks are powered by solar power currently, and that's going to increase over time as more solar arrays go in. And we want to make sure that it's the best possible environmental impact that we can do. And we want to really cater to native wildlife. And so we do that by creating pollinator habitats there in and around the solar arrays. And you got to make sure you're actually doing a good job in collecting data to make sure that it's not just, hopes and dreams and wishful thinking, that you actually have data to back it up. And so sometimes that requires chasing butterflies. And field science, it's way more fun than you might anticipate. Sometimes it's a hard slog through mud, but sometimes it's just prancing through a meadow with a net.
I don't think I watched that episode. It sounds like a memorable one. Yeah.
It's a good one.
That is awesome. Well, does anybody else have anything they'd like to add? This was such a fun interview, guys. Like I said, my 6-year-old, I told him, I was like, oh, I'm doing this interview. I need to do homework. And they're like, oh gosh, homework. And I said, I get to watch a show on Disney Plus. So they're all game for it. They ate their food really fast. That way they could watch this. Then they asked me to wake them up extra early. So that way they can fit in a show before they go to school.
Oh, yes.
I'm telling you guys,
Love
it is.
Yeah.
But I asked her, I said, my oldest Alessia, I said, well, what would you like me to ask the doctors? And she says, just tell them that they're coolest and thank you. So from the mouth of a 6-year-old. So what you guys are doing is amazing and inspiring so many. So thank you for that. And thank you for joining me. I really appreciate you guys taking time out of your very busy schedules, as we all know you guys do.
Thanks.
Thank you.
This was fun.
Thank you.
I'll be stopping by and checking them out when I go to Animal Kingdom for sure. And I'll have stories to tell.
Yes, come visit us, please.
We'll do. Thank you guys.
Bye
Thank
now.
you.
Bye.
This is where I belong. This is home. Real dirt in the sunlight again. I'm very excited. Anything could happen at any moment. My heart is so happy right now. We're making magic. We're making magic.